Hey, and welcome to another session to talk about our ability to feel happy versus to think our way into happiness. And let me share with you why I'm making this distinction because I don't know if I ever actually thought about happiness in this way. I was going to the US Open with one of my sisters, and we were staying at my niece's house, who lives right outside of the city. And she has three little kids, a 7-year-old, and then twin boys who are 4. And I don't know about you, but whenever I'm around little kids, their level of excitement and joy and feedback is so immediate all the time. And every morning I got to play with them before I ended up going to the US Open. And for those that don't know, the US Open is a tennis tournament that takes place in the United States once a year in August in New York City. And I love it because I love tennis. I play in a league. I take lessons. If I could do tennis every day, all day long, I would. Maybe I would get bored by it, but so far I haven't been. So I'm going to this live, and uh, I was thinking it's going to be really fun, and I'm going to have a great time. But that morning, when we woke up to go, I was with my niece and nephews, and we were playing games, red light, green light, and pass the magic, whatever ball, and all sorts of things. And what I started to notice with the kids in particular was how fast their reaction time was to feeling happy, to be in happiness, and how fast it went from happiness to sadness. Like when one of them didn't win a game, you just burst out crying and just stood there and crying until I picked him up and soothed him and told him he could be the leader again. And then he was okay, and we allowed him to be the leader again. And when I left that morning and I went to the US Open, we were with, thousands of people. I think they had like 79,000 people the first day we were there. And we were sitting in the different stands, and it was a lot of fun. I had fun. It was really cool because we had seats that were just a few feet off of the court, so you could really see the experience of the players, and you could really see their facial expressions or feel, for me, I could feel their energy of when they were happy or when they were upset over something. And then the next day, we had seats further back. And what I noticed was that the intimacy with seeing the players wasn't as much. But my experience of what was going on around me was heightened. Like I could feel all the different energy of, people being excited or bored or wanting to move to the next thing, or like it was just a lot of mixed energy. And I was thinking back to that morning of the kids and playing with the kids and how immediate their reaction to happiness was. And I started to think, how is my happiness? Like, how immediate am I feeling happiness? How much do I allow myself to feel happiness? And then I started to think, am I really happy? Or am I just thinking I'm happy? So, for instance, at the US Open, we had two very different days. One day we were down, seats were down by the court, the weather was okay, the matches were really cool, and there weren't that many people around us because we were sitting so close to the court. And I felt like I was really more into what was going on right in front of me, into the match, into watching the players, into watching their excitement or their upsets when they were getting the balls or missing the balls. And I could be much more immediate with my reactions. Versus the next day when I was sort of way up high and it was hot, it was like 95 degrees. And even when we were going to the smaller stadiums outside, I was finding like my intention was always moving off of the match because I was more aware of how uncomfortable my body felt, how hot I was, how annoyed, like people were more annoyed, and I think they were more annoyed because they were also suffering in the heat. So the level of happiness wasn't as high. And as I was thinking, so that next morning, as I was playing with the kids again, I started to see that the kids had no filters on happiness. They were just there in the moment with you. And they were either expressing great fun or not so much fun, or a lot of happiness or not so much happiness. And it was as simple as that. And later, I was thinking that as adults, we begin to modulate how much we can express in our life, how much we could express our happiness, how much we could express our sadness, but it has to do with our feelings and how much we can bring forth. And then I was thinking about, when do I really feel happy? Like, when do I allow myself to move into the feelings of happiness? Or when do I stay in the thought process of happiness? For instance, have you ever gone to a wedding and you're happy for the couple, or you're having a good time around the table, but it's not like you're not feeling the level of happiness? Or have you gone to a wedding where you really feel a part of the happiness and joy? I've facilitated a couple of weddings where I felt the happiness and joy because I was right up there with the couple in the moment, creating um, what was being said and what was being shared and how the ceremony was going. So I was connected to it a lot more. And one of the things I started to realize about life and our ability to feel happy was how connected we are to our level of purpose, and then how much we allow ourselves to feel. You know, one of the things my spiritual guides always say to me is that having a human experience is very special because when we're humans, we have emotions. We're allowed to feel. We connect at a whole different level than when we're just in the spiritual realm. I shouldn't say just, but when we are in the spiritual realm, it's all energy. So you're not in the ability to feel like we are when we're living our human lives. And I thought to myself, a lot of the people that I work with, that I have as clients, that I have had in my classes, one of the things that they always comment about in going through the different programs I've run or doing the different work with me is that their level of happiness has increased. So much so, a few years ago, I changed the name of my business to the Center for Lifelong Happiness because people were just responding to our surveys of their level of happiness went through the roof, or they could experience it more and their life got better. And I started to look at that, and I realized that when I feel the happiness in my life, when I feel most happy, and I'm using the term feel, not think, when I feel most happy, it's usually when I am doing my work, when I'm working with clients, when I'm running groups, when I'm creating programs, when I work with my teams, when I'm talking to you. That increases my level of happiness. And it increases my level of happiness for a couple of reasons. But one big reason is because when I'm doing my work, I'm living my purpose. I'm living the purpose I came here to do, experience, and bring forth. And so, what I realized why a lot of my clients' level of happiness goes up is because we have them move into living their purpose. And I want that for you. I want that for those people that are in my Soul Driven community, and a lot of you are new to it, and I'm excited to work with you. So, what's your purpose? And how do you bring that level of happiness into your life once you're living on purpose? Because purpose opens up everything for us. It opens up our passion, it opens up our prosperity, it opens up our ability to know that we are here doing the work that our soul came in to have the experience of. When we live from a place of purpose, we live from a place of alignment. When we're in that place of alignment, we can feel what brings us happiness and joy a lot more than thinking it. And just to sort of close the loop on the little kids, my little grandnieces and nephews, they're in the moment of happiness in their play because they are being themselves. They are being who they came here to be. Now, maybe playing these games isn't aligned to their purpose, but it's really letting them express themselves the way their soul wants them to be in expression. So, if you are interested in elevating your happiness quotient in life and getting some clarity on what's going to allow you to feel a greater sense of happiness rather than think, oh, I should be happy, I'm in this place that I really love to be in, but to feel that level of happiness, I look forward to connecting with you and seeing how we can all raise our level of happiness, that we're feeling happier in our lives, that we have more clarity about what we want to be doing in life, and that we give ourselves permission, just like the little kids, to show up in all of our excitement and our greatness and our purpose and our passion. What I love to do is to read what gets in the way of your happiness, because all of us know at some level what gets in our way. We might not know how to bring more in, but we know what gets in our way of our happiness. So if you have an inkling of what gets in the way of your happiness, just post that in the comments section as well, so that we can start releasing some of that energy and creating a new way for you to live in purpose and in happiness. All right, see you soon. Take care, everyone.